All right, welcome. Thank you for coming to my Zoom meeting tonight, my class. And for those of you that have come and done my classes in my home, this is going to be a little bit different tonight. Tonight I wanted to talk more just about my story and my journey. I call it my journey to health. Anyhow, so when I was little, I was sick like a lot, all the time. I started when I was a baby, and I had mono when I was 2, and anyways, a lot of health issues all growing up. When I was 10, I got really, really sick, and they didn't know why. And over the course of the next 4 years, until I was 14, I was going into hospitals, and they were doing testing, and they were trying to figure out what was going on with my body. So 4 years, clinics all over, different colleges, universities that I'd go to, the hospitals there out of different states, trying to figure out what was going on with me, why I would get sick seemingly every time I turned around. When I was 13, I was in PE, and we were running the mile. And I remember going into the locker room when we were done and laying down on the floor in the fetal position because I was so sick from running. Anyways, and I wasn't getting better. I would get better for a little while, and then I'd get sick again. Anyhow, so when I was 14, my family care doctor gave me a diagnosis. She finally figured out what was going on with me and diagnosed me with an autoimmune disorder. And so I started kind of researching that and looking into it, and she did as well. There wasn't really very much that I could do. So I tried, there was one option that they said, well, you can try this and see if it helps, and it didn't. And they said, well, there's nothing else really that you can do. So I learned how to manage it. I ended up homeschooling through high school for health reasons, obviously. And when we would have dances, our church would do youth dances every month. And it was my favorite thing to go and do, was these youth dances. So I would save up my health and my energy, and I would go to these youth dances once a month, and I would full out just live it up. I'd have so much fun. And then the next day, so that would be a Saturday night, the next day I would go to church, I'd come home and I'd take my nap in the afternoon, and by Monday morning, I was down. I had an early morning religious instruction class that I would go to, and I would get up for that, and then I would come home and I would sleep until usually about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Then I'd get up and I'd do my homeschool assignments and do that every day. And it would take me about 2 weeks to recover enough that I felt like I was as fully as I could be functioning teenager again. But even then, I still was tired a lot, and I would get sick really easily. So I did that all through high school. That was my monthly ritual. I'd go, have fun, exert myself, and then I would have these, I called them flare-ups. Anyhow, so I did that when I was 17, graduated early, went away to college, and by that point, I knew the signs that my body would give me if I was pushing myself too hard, and I knew when to slow down. And so I did a lot better, but I still would do things because I wanted to have fun. I wanted to live my life the way I desired to live it. And so I would still sometimes push myself too hard, and I would get sick and have these flare-ups again. And fast forward a couple of years, I get married and start having children. I was very, very, very blessed that I was able to be the kind of mom that I could be so that I could take care of my kids. I know other people that have conditions similar to what I was diagnosed with that have not been able to do what I've been able to do. And I really feel that, I know that it's been because God has strengthened me, and it's a huge gift that I'm incredibly, incredibly grateful for. So I would still have these flare-ups though. I'd push myself too hard, just being a mom. doing life things, and I would have these flare-ups. Usually they'd last about 3 days, and then I would start feeling better because I knew my body, I knew what I needed to do, and I would just rest and give my body what it needed. And after about 3 days, I'd start feeling better again. But those were 3 days that I wasn't being an engaged mom. And I didn't even realize how that affected my husband even. So in March of 2016, I was having what I call one of my flare-ups. And I was just trying to push through it like I always had, because I was a mom and I had to. You don't get to just not engage in life. Even though I wasn't fully engaged, I was still trying to do what had to be done. The flare-up wasn't going away, wasn't getting any better. I was really frustrated. After about almost a week at that point, I texted my friend Carrie, and I said, because I knew that she was involved with Isagenix, and I said, hey, you need to talk to the formulator and you need to tell them to find something that can help with this autoimmune disorder and this and this and this. I was like, there's got to be a solution. I know there has to be an answer. And here I had been, at that point, it was 23 years that I'd been really dealing with it. And I was frustrated, and I tried everything and nothing had worked. Because I tried the one thing the doctor said, that didn't work. And then I would research herbal things, nutritional things on my own. I went to massage therapy school and I got my degree in that. And so I was really interested in herbal remedies. And so I've tried everything. I had a naturopath, and anyways, I would get some relief, but I never got better. Anyways, so I had told her about that, and she's like, well, I know some people that have had help with taking a product that we already have. Anyway, so she gave me the information about it, and I looked into it, and I finally decided to try it. So I went over to their house. It was a Monday night. My husband and I went over, and they were telling me a little bit more, and I said, you know what, I've got to try it. At that point, it had been nearly a week and a half, and I wasn't getting any better, and had been a really, really long week and a half. Anyhow, I said, let's try it. And my husband was interested, and he said, maybe this could help me even. So we both decided to get started on it. And the product that we got started on was Product B Isagenesis. When I first heard, so I started taking it, and Dave and Carrie told me a little bit about it. And I had looked just at the ingredients, and I recognized a few of them. I'm like, there's some powerful things in there, and let's give it a try. So after I started taking it, Carrie had sent me the link to watch one of Dave's presentations that explains the science behind it. And I was up with my baby. He's currently 10 months old. Anyways, at the time, he was having a hard time, wasn't going to sleep. And it was 11 o'clock at night. And I thought, I'm just going to watch the presentation. Usually if I put on a show or something and sit there and rock him, he would go to sleep. And so I thought, well, I'll watch the presentation at 11 o'clock at night. Wrong decision. No, it was a good decision. It just was not the smartest time of day for me to put that on, because I was awake until 2 o'clock in the morning because I was so excited when I realized what this meant. The research I had done on the autoimmune disorder that I had been diagnosed with, I understood that everything occurred on a cellular level. And when I was watching this, that's what they were talking about, is addressing symptoms, addressing all these disorders, all these symptoms associated with these disorders on a cellular level. Anyways, so Dave taught me about telomeres, however you want to pronounce it. So I'm a homeschool mom, so I use visual aids. I have my visual aid here. I'm going to give you a brief rundown on what a telomere is. So pretend this is your chromosome inside the nucleus of your cell, okay? The chromosome protects your DNA. when you're conceived, you have what's called 15,000 bases on your telomere. Your telomere acts like the plastic end of your shoelace. It protects the shoelace from fraying. So that's what the telomere does for our DNA. It protects our DNA from fraying. So when we're conceived, we have 15,000 bases. By the time we're born, we're down to about 10,000 bases. And then it shortens as we age, and stress and nutrition are the biggest things that cause it to shorten even faster. It's called accelerated shortening. And then eventually we reach senescence of the cell, or death. We get down to about 5,000 bases, and that's when our cells die. And we start to, our bodies start to deteriorate as well. Anyhow, so I was up till 2 a.m. after I read that this right here addresses both the basal shortening, which just happens with regular age, and it also addresses accelerated shortening. What it does is it comes back and it actually heals or regrows the telomere. It's called a telomere right here. It says telomere support plus antioxidants. The antioxidants is what helps make sure that your cells are healthy, and it addresses that basal shortening. And then the accelerated shortening, that's what this also does, the telomere support. So it activates what's called the telomerase gene, which is active in all of our reproductive cells. And that's why all of our reproductive cells stay perfect like this. That's why when babies are conceived, it's full like this. So this helps, this actually activates the telomerase gene and increases the health of your telomere. So in my case, I saw a reversal of the symptoms that I had been dealing with for almost my entire life. All of a sudden they just were gone, which was absolutely an answer to prayers. So when I tell people that Isagenix has changed my life, it's not a trite saying. It literally has. I'm more fully engaged. I can do so much more. I have the energy to do things. So 2 weeks after I started taking it, I had Dave over for a meeting, and it was that day that I had realized that my baby was teething, and he was up between 6 and 8 times every night. And I had not felt like I had to take a nap. That was just like this, seriously, the clouds are parting, angels are singing kind of moment when I realized I actually have energy. I'm able to be a mom all day long. Whereas before that, every day by 3, 4 in the afternoon, I was done. I would have to lay down. I'd have to close my eyes and take a nap. And my kids can tell you, if they came to ask mom a question and she was asleep, I was not very pleasant. I was so tired, I wasn't even being a nice mom. I wasn't living my life the way I desired to live it. I wasn't able to do most of the things that I desired to do. And I struggled to maintain a positive outlook and attitude simply because I didn't feel well. So that was how everything started for me. And then I gradually added in the isoline shakes. That was the next thing I added in, which I love. So I no longer crave ice cream. Every now and again, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll have some ice cream. But let me tell you, it's few and far between. I don't crave the sugar all the time like I used to. Now, in fact, if I want something, if something sounds good to me, it's usually a shake. Like I'm going to make an isoline shake. So the other day, I used my vanilla isoline shake, ice, and an orange. And I made basically my own orange Julius, and it was really, really good, and it was really good for me. And this, just the shake alone, is not for weight loss. It is for optimal health. I have a friend who's using shakes right now because she's underweight and she's needing to put on some healthy lean muscle mass. And that's what this is helping her to accomplish. She also is able to, she is not normally able to eat a full meal. She gets full, she doesn't have much of an appetite, and just, she doesn't feel like eating. So she started taking the shakes every day, and she's like, I can actually finish a meal now, and I feel good when I'm done. So that's been cool, because what it does is it gives us the minerals that our bodies have to have, and the amino acids that we need in order to be at an alkaline level, and in order to have our bodies come into homeostasis, which is where we need to be for optimal health. So I have people say, well, you know, when I've lost the weight, then do I go off it? And I'm like, this is a perfect nutrition. And it's not about losing weight. It's how healthy do you want to be? And I promise you, you're going to feel so good that you're not going to want to be done after you've released all that weight. For me, I didn't start looking to lose weight. That was a very happy added side benefit for me. I released, well, now it's been 15 pounds. When I weighed myself the other day, I haven't weighed myself for maybe a week or two. Anyways, it was 15 pounds that I'd released. But it's not just the number on the scale. It's I feel better. I have more energy, even more than just with taking the product to be. I notice a huge difference in how I function and in my brain clarity with both of those combined. The next thing I'm really excited to add in is the cellular cleanse. It's called Cleanse for Life, and it works on a cellular level. So we have all these toxins that we're exposed to all day, every day. There's over 250 chemicals that are found in a newborn baby, the umbilical cord. They test the blood from that, and they are finding, now I think it's over 300 now. I can't remember the exact number, but I do know it's over 300 chemicals in every single newborn that they check. And that's like the placenta is supposed to be the greatest defense, and that's what's being found in the placenta. So we know that our bodies, we've got a lot of toxins and chemicals that are in our bodies. Even just from being around like electronics, there's the radiation that gets put off, even though it's a small amount. It's coming at us all the time. And so the cellular cleanse, it helps it detoxify, to clean out the cells. It's not one of those scary cleanses. It's easy. When my husband's gone through it, I have lots of friends and family that have gone through it, and that's my next step. And I'm excited to get my body feeling even better, and to release all the extra junk that isn't serving me. Anyhow, I hope that what I've shared has made sense, and that it's maybe touched somebody, inspired somebody. It has literally changed my life. And I don't, like I said earlier, that's not a trite saying. I don't say that lightly. I know that this came into my life exactly when I needed it to. I was I had heard about Isagenix for years and years and years before, but I had a preconceived idea, and it was not true. It was false. And once I trusted Dave and Carrie, and I knew them. I knew that they had high levels of integrity, and I absolutely trusted them. And so when Carrie said, well, maybe this might help, that's when I thought, you know what, I need to get past whatever it was before, which was just ignorance on my part, and look into it and ask them my questions and say, okay, this is what I'd heard, and this is why I've always kind of steered clear. And they said, oh, well, no, it was this, this, and this, and you were misinformed. And then I did my own research, and that's when I just got really excited. I'm like, this is the real deal. I've tried a lot of other products, and while they might have helped a little bit, I've never been involved with anything that's done what this has done. So if you have any questions, feel free to message me or contact me, or contact the person who shared this with you, and I am happy to help however I can. One of my greatest desires is to help people be their healthiest, happiest selves. And I really, truly believe that Isagenix gives us tools to accomplish just that. Anyhow, so thank you very much. I've recorded this, so I will go ahead and post it for anyone who wants to hear and listen. All right. Have a good night. Bye.